One of the pleasures of summer is sitting on your deck or patio enjoying a good book with a glass of wine. How about that? Well, I have the book picked out and now I just need the wine. And for that, I turn to the woman behind Beers with Mandy and author of the new book, How to Taste, Mandy Naglich. Good morning, Mandy. How are you?
Good morning. There's nothing like starting it off with some wine, I think.
You are absolutely right. Wine is year-round. Okay, let's talk about this because I find it so interesting to pair books with wine. Okay, summertime is all about the romance novels, the love stories, right? What wines do you think help maintain the mood?
So for romance, I was looking for something from the land of romance. So we had to go with Italy, and it's actually right next to the city of Verona, where we know Romeo and Juliet come from.
Yes.
So we have this Zenato Lugana, if you want to give it a sniff. Not only does it have that historic winery in Italy background, but it just has those really romantic flavors, like this lush peach.
Yes.
Little honeysuckle, like you can kind of imagine this romantic field of flowers and your like really lush fruit.
Oh yeah, and the love vibes are setting in for sure. Okay, now you know, a lot of my friends are really into memoirs, or at least they've been telling me that's their thing, and they're more personal. They tend to be intense. What do you recommend for those?
So memoir, you know, you're kind of like hiking, you're watching the hero hike to their high points, and so obviously High Note from Argentina was a great meal deck for this. It also really has a complex flavor that opens up. So you'll start with these like red fruit notes, but then it'll open up to more violets, more spices, kind of like the complexity of a memoir.
This is more my taste. I love a good red. It just feels bold. It's going to be strong and it's perfect. Okay, my favorite though is mysteries. Love a good mystery. I can't get enough of those. But what pairs well with a real page turner? Like if I could get the wine and the mystery, it's going to be a good night.
Well, and I wanted to go with a mysterious grape for this one. So even though it's summer, it's another red. But this is made from the Carmenere grape, Route 1, which is from Chile. And the little mystery about that is that the grape comes from France, but it's now grown in Chile. It's kind of taken on this new life, a mysterious new life. And the flavors, again, really open up. They're like a little bit savory, a little bit of this green peppercorn. So it's nice and bright for summer, you know, it kind of shocks you with being a red wine, but being so light on your palate.
Okay, I just took a little sip of that and it is really delicious. Where is my book? I'm ready for this. This is a good one. Now, there are a couple of classics that I read every couple of years. What goes is champagne, right? With something like A Wuthering Heights, or it's just one of the classics. What do you recommend for that?
I mean, when you're thinking classic, you got to think Great Gatsby, I would say. And there's nothing more iconic than that champagne toast. So Pommery is actually a champagne house from 1874. I think it's about as classic as it gets. And it has these really romantic notes as well of like brioche. It's opening up in a really classic way that you'd expect from this like zippy champagne to just finish a summer day.
Okay, champagne is another one of my favorites, but girl, I am not about to start mixing wines this morning, so I'm gonna leave this one for a little bit later. But Mandy, what would you say is your favorite wine? Which one is like your go-to?
I would say for the summer, I'm really obsessed with this Carmenere grape now. Especially this winery is really sustainable. And all summer I've been looking for wineries that have just, you know, a little edge of sustainability to them, thinking about our world. So I thought that was really exciting, that both new grape and sustainable winery.
Love it. Okay, tell us all about your book. And when we have your book, what should we pair up with that?
So my book is How to Taste, and it's about tasting everything. So you can pair any snack you have, but in the summer, I really like a little cheese board paired with the book. You can kind of read about all the flavors that you can taste on your palate and learn a little bit more about your senses of taste and smell.
Absolutely, and I'm gonna let you go in just a sec, I promise, but I have one more question. I'm always curious about the reds. What is a good red that you think will go well with everyone? Because my friends are usually like, well, I like Merlot, or I like, they all have different tastes. What do you recommend is that one that could possibly work for everyone's palate?
I think for everyone, reaching for a Malbec is a really great idea. You get that kind of tannin that you're expecting from a big red wine, but it still has lots of fruitiness to it for your people who are looking for something a little jammy or fruitier. So that's why High Note is really great too. And they grow their grapes at very high elevation. So kind of a cool little story behind your wine never hurts.
Definitely the loved High Note. Well, Mandy, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We are excited about your book and great info. Thanks a lot for being with us.
Cheers. Have a good one.
Cheers. Cheers to you. Thanks. Okay, everyone, pick up a book and a glass. And why not Mandy's book? And this is Mandy Naglich's new book, How to Taste and Try Her Recommendations. Ask her for her recommended wines at your local purveyor. Follow Mandy on beerswithmandy.com.